Hey, comic lovers, EMoney, the old man, and Thor the Dog of Thunder back here with you again at our weekly garage sale. And it's a little brisk this morning.
Oh, it was cold as hell. What are
Yeah,
you talking
it
about?
was cold. So still out here having a good time. And what are we talking about this week? We got our comic book reviews. We are talking about, we have The Death of Doctor Strange. We're going to be talking about that one. A couple of titles from DC and Marvel, Independence, of course. A lot of fun stuff. Hey, buddy, how you doing? You good? Yeah. Hey, he grinned his teeth at me then. All right, so that's what we have on today's episode. Remember, if this week's episode of What If has taught us anything, never make more of a mess than you can clean up before Mom gets home.
Ooh, yeah.
This is Back Issues. All right, comic lovers. So before we get started today, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on your notifications, give us a thumbs up, and if you like, leave us a comment. Give us some recommendations or tell us how you feel about some of these comics. All right. So, before we get started, remind you guys how we do this. We grade comic books on a 5-shield rating system. We each give 2 grades to each comic book, one for writing and story, and the other one for artwork. And then we combine those 4 scores together to give it an average overall score.
And we don't compare scores. We don't talk about them until we've read them all, and then we sit down to average out the numbers.
Yep. All right. So mentions this week. We only have 2 mentions. The first one is one that has been talked about, has been advertised in other comic books. The Death of Doctor Strange #1. All right. So I don't know. I don't like how they tell you what's going to happen right there in the title.
Well, I mean, let's face it. If they didn't say something like that, I don't know that we would. If they just said Doctor Strange #1. I mean, we get a lot of #1 books, but I'm not sure we would have bought it.
Yeah. All right. So, Death of Doctor Strange. So, in this issue, it starts off, Doctor Strange is going about his daily routines of, studying the mystic arts. And
Hell, it starts with him waking up.
Yeah.
I mean, it starts at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. And getting coffee, and he goes on walks with his ghost dog. I didn't know he had one of those.
I didn't either.
I also didn't know that he has somehow regained the use of his hands, and he has gone back to doing surgery. So he's a surgeon and the Sorcerer Supreme now.
And
He's a teacher.
at the Strange Academy.
Yeah, he teaches at the Strange Academy, the mystic arts.
I'm not reading any of the Strange Academy comics, so didn't know a whole lot about it. But
So I don't know how he budgets his time. Is he using the time stone so he can be in 3 places at once?
He would need to.
I mean, how do you keep up the energy? So, him, going from place to place. There was one funny panel where, he's just, going to his local bodega getting a drink, and some guy comes in trying to rob the place.
Bad timing.
Yeah, just totally out of your weight class. And so then, he is home after a long day, and an intruder comes in to the Sanctum Sanctorum and does, what it says right there on the cover. So it's like the whole world feels it when the Sorcerer Supreme dies, and anyone who is attuned to those sort of things, whether through science like Reed Richards or through magic like Thor or Dr. Voodoo, they feel it. So, everyone is in mourning, and just as they're in mourning, they get a visitor. They get several visitors, uninvited, but it's the last one in the issue that throws you for a loop, and you're like, what the hell is going on here? So that's where it ends. So they build some anticipation for issue #2. So interesting story. I like the the day-to-day that they show here for Doctor Strange.
The day in the life.
Yeah. So Death of Doctor Strange #1 ended up with 3.5 shields out of 5.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, next up.
Next mention.
Let's go to Scout Comics and talk about Midnight Western Theater #5.
All right. So if you haven't been watching, Midnight Western Theater is a comic book about a woman. I think she's just a normal, tough woman, and a vampire man who exist in the Old West, and they go about mercenary work, bounty hunting, whatever people will hire them to do. And I've been enjoying it. It's fun stuff.
It's different. It's different.
Mm-hmm. And it's usually a quick read, most issues. And but one thing that I haven't been enjoying about it was, for some reason, the publishers make really small font when you write the character's dialogue, especially the vampire. The vampire, they always put in black background for his text bubbles, black background, white font. And don't give me that. You've been struggling to read it too. And
EMoney's getting old.
And they make it really small, and I don't know why. It's like, I don't know if you can see this on the screen there, but it's just so small, and it's been frustrating. So finally, I just went right to the source, and I asked them point blank. So I found the writer on the front cover, Louis Southard. So I looked him up on Twitter, and I asked him, quick question. I really enjoy Midnight Western Theater, but why do you make the font so small? I would enjoy the comic so much more if I didn't have to squint to read what the characters are saying. Are they supposed to be whispering? So, I've put out some of these feelers with people on Twitter before. Usually it's to compliment them on something. Sometimes it's to ask them a question. Sometimes to complain. I guess this was a little bit of both of those last two. And one of my favorite ones was the guy from gosh, I've forgotten his name now. He's a famous comedian, Asian comedian, and Ken Jeong. Yeah, Ken Jeong. Yeah. I did the Hot Ones Challenge with a group of my friends. If you ever watch Hot Ones Challenge on YouTube.
Yeah, you guys are on YouTube.
Yeah, and you
guys are cray-cray.
Yeah, we did the challenge, and we were about to try the bomb sauce. And if you ever watch the show, that's the one that messes everybody up. And they had the YouTube show on the big screen while we were doing the challenge, and we were watching the Ken Jeong episode. And just when we were about to try the bomb sauce, I see Ken's reaction to it. And I said I was done after that. If you watch the episode if you want to know how he reacts.
If I'd have been there, I'd have bailed out a long time ago. But definitely when you got to the bomb, it would have been hell to the hell no.
Yeah. So, I saw how all my friends reacted to it after that, and I'm just like, thank you, Ken Jeong. And I actually sent him a tweet saying, I want to say thank you, and told him, what happened, and I said, best decision I ever made. And he sent me a like for that. So
okay, that's good and everything.
Yeah.
You want to be back on track?
Yeah. I just little side note. It was a fun anecdote.
Yeah, it was 15 minutes.
Shut up. All right. So Lewis actually wrote back, and he says, if you didn't like that, I've got worse news. I'm sad to report that I'm personally going to make the font even smaller in the sequel.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but you contacted the writer.
Mm-hmm.
The writer ain't got nothing to do with the font. I mean, he might tell somebody, we'll make it a little spiny. He might. But the letterer, a guy named Buddy Baldwin, that you probably should have reached out to. He's the guy that does the lettering, the letterer. So, at any rate, it's still funny.
All right. So, I don't know if he's going to follow through. I'm anxious to see what the sequel title is going to be, and if he makes good on his promise.
I just want to see what he comes up with a story for the sequel.
Yeah. All right. So Midnight Western Theater, 3.5 shields out of 5.
All right. Ready to do the top 3?
All right. Top 3.
And lo and behold, this week's top 3 includes 0 ties.
No ties.
Didn't have to come up with any stupid contest. Just bam, the way it fell.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so number 3 on the hit parade from DC Comics. I know, let's face it, we read a lot of Batman, so there's no doubt that every once in a while, a Batman book's going to be in the top 3.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Batman number 113, and it got 3.75, so rounded up to 4 shields.
All right, so this is part 2 of Fear State for Batman, and Batman is fighting a battle on multiple fronts. He's fighting to stop Jonathan Crane from spreading panic throughout Gotham, and he's also fighting the magistrate, the lawgivers, lawmakers in Gotham currently. The occupying force is what a lot of people call them.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the first few pages, Batman is confronted by the magistrate's drone forces, and Batman he sends a message to Simon, the guy who's in charge of the magistrate forces.
Yeah, he assumes that he could be seen and heard by Simon.
And he's like, I hope you're watching this, Simon. And he makes a threat promise to him saying, I want you to see how easy this is for me, how quickly I dispatch your forces, and I want you to know I'm going to make sure you spend a very long time in jail for what you've done. And
I mean, if Batman threatens you, are you worried?
Yeah. Yeah. So after he dispatches his drones, the last picture in this page, you see Simon, who is actually watching, give a veritable gulp. So later on, you see Batman talking to Ghostmaker, one of the more recent additions to the Bat family, and they go back into Jonathan Crane's background. And I don't know, it's like, I don't like these flashback scenes where they rehash old stories. Like, we know Jonathan Crane's origin story. I mean, you don't have to, retell it over and over again.
Well, I'll defend it. You don't know if it might be a new reader. I mean, who knows?
So that part, slowed the story down a little bit, but it picks up again with the Peacekeeper 01, who was supposed to be like the poster boy for the magistrate's campaign in Gotham.
Until Scarecrow got in his head.
Yeah, Scarecrow hit him with his fear gas, and now he's a loose cannon and a liability to the magistrate.
He's a nut job.
Yeah, and I can't blame him for that. I mean, anyone goes insane with Scarecrow's gas, but someone has to put him down. So Batman 113, Fear State number 2, comes in at 4 shields out of 5.
Up to 4 shields.
4 shields out of 5.
All right, next up, no need to round it. It just got 4 shields. Is Marvel's Alien comic number 7. Now, a lot of times when you're looking through back issues and you see a run of books, you can't decide, well, where does the story start? They made it easy. New arc starts here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't mean anything to us because we're reading every issue. But somebody looking through back issues 10 years from now, that'll make their life a little bit easier.
Yep. All right, so Alien number, what is it? Number 7.
Yeah.
All right, so this one is kind of interesting because it tells an alien story from a new perspective. Because, you watch the movies and you read the books, most alien stories, the humans involved are, Marines or soldiers of some kind. So in this one, you have these settlers who settled on a new planet, and they have been terraforming the planet for, I think, about 20 years now.
And it's just about ready to be turned over to their sole ownership. They're going to actually own their planet now.
Mm-hmm. And the terraforming is almost complete. And once it's complete and the planet can sustain itself on its own, they're going to turn off the machines. And they're all set to celebrate that occasion.
The ship that is bringing in the legal people who are going to sign it all over to them shows up in re-entry.
Yeah. And these people are religious types. And
religious.
And I don't know exactly what the name of their faith is, but they're really into it. And the ship that's supposed to come is crash landing on the planet.
Comes in too high.
Yeah. And they investigate to try and find survivors, and they find a woman who has a xenomorph burst out of her. And once they see that the ship was taken over, crashed because of xenomorphs, being as devoutly religious as they are, they said that the xenomorphs, that they are the dogs of perdition, is what one of the settlers called them, and they've come for us. So apparently, they think that they're coming to punish them for their sins. So, good story. New perspective on the classic Alien story. So, number 7 gets 4 shields out of 5.
No rounding.
No rounding.
All right, and number 1 this week. If you watch the channel on a regular basis, we've told you before that the old man never was a Turtles fan. I mean, I hated the cartoon show. I didn't like the Archie series. Back when the Eastman and Laird books first started, it was hard to put together consecutive issues to read the story. What I've read, I guess, was okay. But
Jim Henson movies?
No.
No?
No. The best one was the one with Ice-T in it, because him doing the song was so ridiculous. Not Ice-T.
Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
I mean, that was hilarious. I'm sorry. That was funny. But at any rate, Ice, baby. Yeah, don't get in my head. So at any rate, The Last Ronin has been an extremely pleasant surprise for this old man.
Yep.
I mean, great story, good artwork. They changed the artwork depending on what time they're talking about. But thoroughly have enjoyed it. In fact, I actually scored this one higher than EMoney did.
Yeah. I was about to give it the same score you did, but I'm like, is that too generous? But talked myself out of it. Now I regret it.
I gave the story 5 shields.
Yeah.
Artwork 4 shields. So this one came in after being rounded from 4 1/4 to 4.5 shields. The Last Ronin, number 4. I think there's one more, isn't there?
Yes. It says at the end of this issue to be concluded. So if you've been reading The Last Ronin, which I highly recommend you do, each issue tells the story of how each turtle died. This is a futuristic story, and there's only one turtle left now, Michelangelo, and like in the beginning, he decides to take April and Casey Jones's daughter under his wing, and she's doing some exercise, hitting the heavy bag, and he sees that she has some skill, but tells her that she needs a lot more work, and she decides to attack Michelangelo, and that turns out to be a big mistake.
Well,
and
was it?
And turns out Michelangelo is a pretty brutal sensei.
Oh yeah, I don't want him to teach me anything.
Yeah, I mean, forget the image you have of Michelangelo, being the party dude scarfing down a pizza. I mean, he's not that turtle anymore. And so he decides to train her, and then April tells him that she has some enhancements, some genetic enhancements, because of the prolonged exposure that her parents, April and Casey, had to mutated individuals, i.e. the Turtles and Master Splinter.
When you hang around with radioactive mutants, you're going to get something.
Yep. So, she's got, that, super soldier type strength. So, then later on, you see the flashback of how Donatello and Master Splinter died. They were in Japan, and their clans had been in war with the Hiroto clan, I think, the one that Shredder led many years ago, and they were hoping to discuss a peace or a truce between the two, but they were being led into a trap.
It's a trap.
Yeah. So once that happened, Splinter shows no mercy. I mean, if you watch the cartoon and you're like, the turtles never kill anybody, well, that's not what this book is.
Yeah.
So it goes through the flashback, and then it comes back to the present, and Michelangelo and other resistance fighters are in a war in New York against the descendants of Shredder for the city, and it shows them fighting one of Shredder's allies. So it's some pretty great stuff here. I mean, there's like 3 or more different stories told in this book, and they're all pretty great artwork. That's why it comes in at 4.5 shields out of 5, our number 1 pick. And 4.5, is about as good as you can get on the show.
We don't give a lot of books 4.5.
Yeah, I mean, no one's ever gotten a perfect 5 before. That would be insane.
That'd be lovely.
Mm-hmm. All right, so here's our top picks. Check them out at your local comic book shop if you haven't already. All right, so our top picks for this week. What do we got?
All right, so stuff we're looking forward to. It's a big week. Well, you got Thor coming out. I've always liked the Thor current storyline. You were asking about crossover.
Yep. Haven't seen crossover in a while.
Crossover will be back. A new Firefly book called River Run.
Mm.
I'm a little concerned because it's got a $7.99 cover price, but we'll see what that's all about. Robin number 6 comes out.
Okay.
The 2 books that were supposed to come out last week, they got delayed. Batman versus Bigby number 1. It's about a werewolf.
Yeah, want to check that one out.
All right. And Legends of the Dark Knight, which has been pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the big one that you've been asking about and we always look forward to is Space Masters.
Finally.
Number 8 comes out.
That's been a while. I mean, Joe Aubrey, you told us that the original artist was coming back in the next issue, and then we kept waiting and waiting and waiting.
Did he say it was going to be this issue, or just say he was coming back?
I thought he said it was going to be this issue.
I hope so.
So
I mean, I know
Joe.
I know
Tease.
Simon Bisley is a real popular artist,
Mm-hmm.
but his paintings, I just don't care for it.
Mm-mm. All right, so crossover and Space Bastards, 2 that seem like they've been delayed for a long time. We're finally getting them this week.
Either that or you've just been really, really, really looking forward to them.
Feels like it's been months.
It's been a minute.
All right, so before we head back up into the garage, a quick announcement. We're probably not going to have a reaction video today because...
What the hell, you going on vacation again?
I'm going to work, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, I got a work thing for the next 4 days, production work. So I'm not going to have time to do a reaction video. So, sorry. So, it's going to be the best What If story ever.
It'll be the best one they've ever had. It's going to be phenomenal.
It's going to be amazing.
You guys go ahead and watch it and let us know what you think.
It's going to fade into live action and then play a part in the future MCU story, right?
Bite your tongue.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. All right, so no reaction video today. So now let's head back up into the garage with Thor. All right, comic lovers, back out here in the garage with Thor. And I have a sort of themed Stump the Old Man question this week.
What?
Yeah, a themed Stump the Old Man question. So, if you watched the latest episode of What If, you know Captain Marvel played a pivotal role in that episode. So I have a Captain Marvel themed question here. There's a good boy.
Captain Marvel themed question.
Yep.
Okay.
In the movie Captain Marvel, what is the name of Goose the Cat's species?
What?
What is the name of Goose the Cat's species?
Oh, I know that. It's from the Rip Your Eye Out.
No.
It's from the Crazy Alien.
Okay, I mean, that's a pretty apt description, but it's not the name.
Is it part of the I'm a Ferocious Beast race?
Nope.
I don't know.
Goose the Cat is a Flurkin.
Good old Flurkins. You knew that, didn't you?
The Flurkins are alien creatures resembling Earth cats in appearance and behavior. They reproduce by laying up to 117 eggs and possess many tentacles that can extend from their mouths. Their bodies also hold pocket realities, bubbles of space and time that exist in other worlds.
That's just gross.
Yeah, so they are much feared throughout the galaxy, especially by the Skrulls, apparently.
Duh.
All right, so I stumped the old man this week.
You suck.
All right, that about does it for this episode. Before we go, a little bit about what we're going to be doing next week. Hey, buddy. It's just a neighbor. All right, so next week we are going to have our review of Venom: Let There Be Carnage.
We are.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to go see the movie. You know that, right?
Yep.
Okay.
We're gonna have to head out to the theater. We haven't been to the theater that much since
Just a couple weeks.
since the summer festival ended. So
Summer
yeah.
Festival is a period of time from May the 1st, which was when EMoney used to come home from college, which is when they started doing this,
Yep.
until April the 15th.
August 15th.
August 15th, which is the date that he usually went back to college. So the tradition got started many years ago,
Yep.
and it continues to this day.
Yep.
Of course, we had to skip 2020,
2020. Yeah.
but we're back.
Yep.
We're back.
So next week, hopefully, I mean that's the plan. Let There Be Carnage movie review. All right, we'll see you guys then. Excelsior.
True believers, I got nothing. Just stay safe.